selling gear inside of Raid Shadow Legends is something that is essential because we only have a limited amount of space in our satchel. So you need to make sure that you're selling things that you don't need, both for resources such as silver as well as space, so you can bring in the good stuff. Today I'm bringing you guys a guide. I know, a guide on the channel, isn't that crazy? Of insta sell items that you can get in the form of gear that you want to sell. Get rid of them as soon as you get them, no matter what the status is. I'm talking about if they're regular, if they're legendary, if they're epic, maybe even mythical. Man, I'd probably hold on to the mythicals even if they're from a bad set. But let's get into the guide as to what is an insta sell in Raid Shadow Legends. But before we do, if you've never played Raid, or if you're a new player, download the game right here using my QR code or my link in the description. It gets you 2 free epic champions and it gets you a bunch of free rewards to jumpstart your account, and it supports your boy. I appreciate you guys. Now, first things first, when you start playing the game, it's going to be very much stats over sets. That means you're choosing gear that has the stats you're looking for, your total stats, over the buffs that you'll get and the bonuses that you'll get from using particular sets. Let me give you an example right here. If we take a look at the offensive set, if I use 2 artifacts from this set, I'm going to be getting a plus 15% attack. Well, little you know, that set sucks, and that's going to be one that we get rid of. But let me get into some of the ones that are really great. One of my favorite sets that I use inside of this game is Perception. If I use 2 pieces of artifacts from this set, I'm going to get accuracy plus 40 and speed plus 5%. One of my favorites in the game that's actually very attainable. So that's one that you're always going to want to keep, especially if they are, you know, higher status and higher stars. But let's get into the ones that we could actually dump right away. The first one is Offense. This is such an old set, as well as many of the others that we see inside of the game that we're going to be talking about here today. So any of the real old ones, a lot of them aren't that good. We're going to sell those, get the silver, because we don't need anything from Offense in our bag taking up the space that we have, the limited space. Another set that you're going to get rid of instantly is Life. You don't need this, so you're going to sell those because you're never going to use them. The defense set is another, and you're actually noticing as I go through these, I don't have a lot. It's because I recently did a cleanse of all of my gear inside of the game. So actually some of the sets that I'm about to mention, I don't even have anymore because I've done the clean out. So the next one I want to take a look at is Critical Rate. As you could tell, I don't have Critical Rate, so those aren't the ones that I just don't have them. I got rid of them all already. So we'll keep Crit Damage. That's not the one I'm talking about. Crit Rate is the one you want to dump right away. And next up is going to be the Fury set. These are no good. Even this legendary that I have right here, I am going to sell them all because they are all a set that I'm not going to use. Fury, we can dump. Even these speed boots right here, I'm going to dump them. I don't need them. We're selling them all right there. Now, if you're a brand new player and you get a pair of speed boots from a bad set and speed is the primary, maybe you'll keep it for a stats over sets scenario. But for me and for a lot of you, that would be a temporary thing, and you would definitely want to get rid of that in the future. Another one you want to get rid of is Days. I don't have any right now because I just cleaned them out, as are many of the others I'm about to mention as well, but Days gear you can dump. Same thing for the Resistance gear and the Accuracy gear. Dump both of those as well. You're not going to need them. They're very old and they're not going to give you anything that you need in the long run. Anything from the Frost set, you're also going to want to get rid of. And Frenzy gear as well. We can get rid of all of these and sell all of them. We don't want anything from Frenzy either. The Avenging set is one that you want to dump right away. You also want to get rid of Divine Offense and Divine Critical Rate. Neither one of these are going to be beneficial to you in the long run. There are just other ways to gain attack and to gain crit rate. You don't need it from these pieces of gear. You could sell anything from those sets. And the last 2 sets that I personally think are instant dumps are Divine Life, which I don't have any of right now, as well as the Resilience set. All of the sets that we just mentioned are insta sells. When you get them from your battles, you can just sell them right away. No need to really even check what they are, especially if you're a couple of months into the game and getting into some better sets. Now, I will also sell things based off of their rank and rarity. So I'll come in and always sell anything that's green, anything that's gray, and at this point in my account, anything that's blue. I'll sell all these. There's no need for me to have them. I'm only going to be working with epics, legendaries, and mythical pieces of gear. If you're a brand new player, you're probably going to want to make sure that you don't get rid of any of the blues. You're going to probably want them for a little bit, for a couple of months, but after that time, you can get rid of all of these. We're going to sell all of them, not even needing to look on what they are. Get ourselves 1.5 million silver and just get rid of all of those artifacts. We don't need them. So now only gear that I have right now are going to be epic, legendary, and mythical pieces of gear. Decent pieces of gear. I got myself about 1100 space, but there's also other things that we're not going to want now, aren't there? When we take a look at the primary stats, if we go to gloves, chest plates, and boots, and we only look at flat stats, we don't want flat stats on these gears. So HP, attack, and defense. Anything that has flat HP, flat attack, or flat defense, I am going to instant sell all of these. Select all. I only have 17 pieces, and we're gonna sell them. Is there a chance that there may have been a gem in there that was hiding that I possibly would have used? Possibly, but I'm getting so much gear that it's not something I'm worried about whatsoever. Now we can even fine tune this a little bit more and go with get rid of gloves, get rid of chests, and only work with boots right now. And I also, remember, we're only ever going to use speed boots. Any boots that we are using inside of the game have speed as a primary stat. And these ones actually, I mean, who am I even on right now? Tyrant and some rare, I gotta upgrade his gear. He's a little low himself. But again, we're gonna go into the filter, we're gonna go to boots, we're gonna go to primary stats, and we're gonna get rid of all of these pieces of gear because none of them are speed boots. And for me, it's only gonna be 4 pieces. We're gonna sell all of them. Bang. That is some really quick how to clear out your inventory. Now, if you want to go to these as well, I personally don't like using anything that's going to be definitely no greens and blue and grays, and even the blues. The only things that I want to keep are special. Always keep your special items over here. So I'm going to go to sell, and I have to do this in a more manual fashion. Anything that's special, I'm going to keep. Special, special, special. These are all special pieces of gear. The high elves, dark elves, we could get rid of all this. Barbarians, skinwalkers, sacred order, Ogren. I could sell all of them because they're blue. That's cool. But I want to keep those special ones even if they're blue because some of these can be very hard to come by. Now, as I mentioned, I'm looking at Tyrant. He's one of my primary champions, and we got him in some rare gear here. When I look at that, it actually makes me a little bit sick to my stomach. This is because you're always going to need to be regearing. When I built out my Tyrant, it was months back, and the gear that I had just was not up to par compared to some of the other gear that I have now, which is why we need to always go back inside of the game with some of the primary champions that you're utilizing to re-gear them. Give them better gear that are going to be more effective. As you can see, Wixwell's wearing some rare gear here as well. How about Armand's? Armand's even has some rares. Nothing on our Rathalos there. And we just geared up Thor. He's not wearing anything that is a rare either. So as we got some of our newer champions, we geared them with some better gear across the board. But with some of the ones that we've been using for quite a while. Like, let's take a look at Kale. Oh, actually, Kale's geared not really in any rares besides his secondary stuff. Some of these other ones are geared quite a bit better, but you're going to want to always go back, re-gear champions with better gear, specifically those primary champions that you're using to carry you through different areas of the game that you're playing on a regular basis. But to do this, you need the space in your bag. Look at this, I have 1,062 of 1,500 pieces of gear. Now, of course, there are a bunch of junk pieces of gear in here. But that takes a bit more of time going through everything, seeing what's good and what's not. What I wanted to share with you today was the very quick way to clean out all of your gear. The quickest way to take 5 minutes, instant sell anything that you don't need right away, and to really just give yourself the space that you need, get the silver that you need, so that you can then go do artifact enhancement events and things of that nature, and have the space to get yourself more gear, improve gear on champions that need that improvement, and just get rid of junk that is just that stuff that you get as soon as you get it, you know it's gonna be trash. I don't typically do guides in the channel. Most of the time, we're just taking you guys through the experiences, playing Raid, having a great time. If you're into that kind of thing, subscribe to the channel because we have a blast here every single day. and sometimes I'll throw a little bit of a tidbit of knowledge at you, like we did today. And if you never played, download the game. It supports me. See you tomorrow.